that, I would want to call Sai Lakshmidhar. He's the CPO, Chief Product Officer of Insulian. He has a very interesting and short and quick bio. He loves insurance and retail. He learns every day, but the best part is saved for the last. He looks forward to Mondays. I'll be very, very hopeful to hear very interesting things from him and looking to learn from his presentation. Sai, please come over.
So this is not a sales pitch. This is basically a journey of how we started a new workflow engine. Okay, background is company is Insulian. 24 years, a lot of customers, a lot of go lives. We do so many policies, a lot of things. What essentially it means is we've done a lot of stuff. We've been successful in policy and underwriting. Okay. But there's been an ask that carriers have been asking, why don't you guys do claims also? So we didn't know what claims was back then. So we thought it's just another module to build when you are doing policy and underwriting. We went into a step-by-step process with the customer. There was an engagement where the customer was giving requirements and it was a bespoke implementation. So we spent almost like 85 months of effort and we created so many modules and there were 15 different user profiles and all that. But the problem was, it was not reusable. So this is what was built for a Middle East customer. It was mainly for motor insurance. And it had around 15 different modules and it goes all the way from intimation till salvage and recovery. But then we thought, okay, can we really reuse it and try to go to other LOBs? But we found that less than 25% is what you could really reuse. Everything else is pretty specific to each of the LOBs. Then we also were thinking, okay, if not reuse for other LOBs, can we do motor for other carriers and things like that? But then again, there was not much of reuse, less than 40%. This number is a little ambitious because each customer is on their own journey and we could not really reuse. So what we understood at the end of the day is, whatever we call these processes are just purely habits. They are used to a certain way and every customer, every LOB is totally different. We approached it from a monolithic view that, okay, claims is $1. We build it for one client and that did not work out. So we went to the drawing board and we started seeing them as smaller blocks. And then when we saw that there were a couple of things which were common. So we should have done that separately in a modular way. So we broke that down and when we were looking at it, we were looking at something like a workflow engine. So then we thought instead of building the new workflow engine, can we use something which is existing? What we understood was the existing ones are mostly pretty generic. All the big names you see come under IBM, all of them. And they were horizontals. Verticalization had to be done by some system integrator or somebody. The other point was when we took to some carriers and said, hey, we could do it on an existing one. They said it's too expensive and verticalization. And a lot of them actually only support cloud. But surprisingly, we saw that their need was more on-prem. So that's the reason we started creating this piece called InFlow. It's basically a workflow engine where we took piece by piece. We created these chunks. I mean, there are a lot of modules. I'm just trying to tell you how we built it. We created nodes, entry, exit points, and blah, blah, blah. We went from ground up. Then all these nodes, we created some pre-built. Since we started late, we had the luxury to include LLMs and all that. So we created specific nodes which can understand NLP and LLMs. So we have pre-integrated with OpenAI. So you can throw in a document, get a JSON out of it, use it for APIs and things like that. And each of these nodes, they sit in a flow, and flow is just a combination of various nodes. And you connect them, split, merge. So a lot of these things that we are talking about were not something that were available earlier with us itself. So we built all of this, and it's a nice, interesting diagram, a lot of jargons. What we've done now is we've implemented this in 2 use cases with some customers. One is in the submission intake aspect. So there are 2 clients, one in the US and one in the Middle East, using this right now. Pilots are happening. So email comes in with an RFQ or a request, and that goes into a box in Flow, and we call the IDP is basically your Claude and OpenAI kind of APIs. So you throw in the API, call the API there, and then it gives back a JSON. There are some learnings there. It doesn't give the same response because that's how LLMs are supposed to work. So we have the human in the loop. All the carriers typically seem to prefer this human in the loop because there's somebody who validates them. And then after that, we start integrating into existing systems. So it comes and sits before your existing digital systems. Okay, this one. And the other one is obviously workflow. Whenever you say workflow, people like to talk about claims. So we started with claims intimation, which is the first leg of the entire claims 15-step process. So that is going well. So after that, the next plan is to do other kind of workflows on top of this. Yep, that was all I have to say. Okay, any questions? I hope not. So this is me, Sai. I'm from Insurtech. Thank you.